Should I?
What
Yeah. What are we going to talk about? I'll bring
what
up a
are
picture or
we
two.
talking? Why are you simping for Jimmy Dore? Okay, what's going
Yes,
Oh,
on?
is that
that's
it?
what
We're
I'm here.
talking
I
about
am a
Jimmy
Jimmy Dore
Dore.
fan. I
Okay.
am.
Yes.
Uh,
Disgusting. Disgusting.
and you know what? I was not always. I hated Jimmy Dore
Mm-hmm.
so much, like years ago. I hated him, but I became. But basically, and just to give a tiny backstory, I was a TYT guy for a while. You know,
Mm-hmm.
much like your
Mhm.
sidekick. Uh,
Mhm. I am not a
and
psychic. Okay.
I hated Jimmy Dore and I hated Dave Rubin, but then eventually I started liking them when they left the show, and I left the
Okay.
show. I stopped watching back when Trump got elected and they came down with Terminal TDS.
Wait, while you liked TYT, you didn't like Jimmy Dore when he was on TYT.
No, I hated Jimmy Dore when he was on there, but then
Why?
why? Because I thought he was unfunny. I didn't like
Mm.
his takes. I thought he was just too crazy and too ignorant. And but after everyone there came down, I started watching him, Kyle Kalinske, and Dave Rubin.
Okay.
Because they had more saner takes of the progressive spectrum that I was kind of floating in.
Right.
And I don't watch Kyle Kalinske anymore because he's done too much stupid shit that I have troubles tolerating him. Like only occasionally check him out to see his takes here and there, usually to disagree. But Jimmy Dore, I became a big fan of, even though I think he makes plenty of mistakes and I do disagree with him plenty. I feel he's far more he's honestly stupid. He's an honest actor. He's admittedly pretty dumb on a lot of these things, but I can respect that. And I think there's a good reason why he has such a broad audience across like liberal, like both left and right spectrums, is because he will defend conservatives and Republicans often against unfair attacks from the crazy leftists.
Okay.
So I grew to respect him and like him a lot there. But even though I still disagree with him, and I don't think I think he's far from perfect.
Sure. I mean, I don't respect people for being fucking dumb, I guess.
No, I
So
don't respect him for
understand
dumb. I
that.
respect him because I think he's an honest actor. I don't think he is. I think when he makes mistakes, he makes them. He's honestly being. It's just because he is
Is
being dumb.
honest? How is honest stupidity better than malicious stupidity? I mean, is that really something that should be applauded?
Hey, what?
I'm not saying
What-
I say the honesty is to be applauded, not the stupidity part.
Yeah, but like, okay, so Jimmy Dore just had. I don't know if you saw this. He just had, what's that guy's name? Caleb
Yes,
Muppet
yeah, I
on.
did see that. Yeah,
Yeah, or Moppin on. He had this
Yeah.
fucking idiot guy on. This
Oh,
was the
yeah.
guy that was claiming that BreadTube is like a secret government psyop, and this guy is so out of touch with reality that he said Destiny of all people is the kingmaker of BreadTube. Okay, which when those
in
words.
fairness, Caleb actually said he wasn't entirely sure on that because that was he had talked to Destiny years ago, and I went back and saw that clip, and
I
that was
understand, but
before he
when
became
the words
against the intellect.
Destiny maybe is not part of BreadTube, but is the kingmaker of BreadTube leaves your mouth in the year of 2022 of our Lord,
Is that
then
such an
you should
unusual
not
thing
be
to say?
taken
Though
seriously as a person who knows fucking anything about
he
what you're
kind of
talking
was
about.
a kingmaker of BreadTube in a way. I mean, a lot of he got a lot of the leaders that had boosted up. I mean, unless you believe Hassan's rewritten history, how he started the Twitch political space. I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to have that to say that, though it's inaccurate. If
The only people, my understanding,
going from years ago.
the only people, my understanding that Destiny helped somewhat was Hassan and Vosh. I mean, he's not some guy who's running around making all this BreadTube.
I love Destiny. Yeah, he's willing to talk to anyone. Doesn't matter who you are. Hey, if you
Right.
get some time, and he'll pop you in and talk to you, and that can boost you up. So I don't think it's
It's
a
a dumb
accurate thing he said.
fucking thing to
Oh,
say.
there's dumber things he said during that interview. Oh my goodness, I did not like that.
Caleb casted BreadTube as a machine designed to parrot Democrat talking points and get Joe Biden elected, which to me it shows that he's a bafflingly incompetent person, because when Vosh came out in favor of Biden, it was like a shock. It was surprising to his audience because BreadTube was very divided about whether they were going to support Biden or not. So this Caleb guy has no fucking clue. This is my problem with him.
I don't think it's
Caleb
unfair to say
has-
that they're.
let me finish.
Yeah.
Caleb has no fucking clue about BreadTube at all. He's some class reductionist Marxist who doesn't like identity politics, which is fine, who wandered into BreadTube because he thought they were socialist, and then he probably didn't like it because they're all a bunch of fucking identity politics assholes. And so he creates this insane lying bullshit narrative that all these class reductionist communists create, where communists can only insult people by calling them fascists. So he calls these fucking neo-Marxian, cultural Marxian breadtubers fascist and democratic operators and all this other bullshit. And the problem with Jimmy is that Jimmy sits there and he uncritically absorbs all this dog shit and just parrots it out to his audience.
Spreading fake news sounds pretty bad. Hey, I brought up the Chiron. Is Jimmy Dore lying or crazy? Just to try to give some form.
Okay.
Just to try to give some form to this discussion / blood sports debate. Now kill each other.
Okay, so I largely agree with you, Sitch.
Thank you.
I do.
What?
I understand where, but here's the thing, though.
Where's
Like-
the end call?
That's the problem. Is like I'm with Sitch most of the way. If you were to want to find my opinions, I'm in a political Venn diagram between, you two, Jimmy Dore, Breaking Points, Destiny. The only person I think I'm like, I feel really like, like this person, like everything she says is basically what I'm thinking, is Shoe on Head. Like like she, like her tiny little bubble is like where I'm like, yes, this is where, if you want to understand my like opinion on anything, just think what she would say, and that's probably it. I'm part of the Shoe crew. Sure. When I'm not part of S class, which is most of the time though.
Okay.
But going to there, I think I think the Kale guy's full of crap. I think well, I haven't seen any Jimmy Dore's videos after that interview, so I'm curious to see how much he is actually parroting that the talking points. I appreciate Jimmy's willing to have talks with a bunch of different people. He does go off the rails at times. But yeah, I liked how when he had that talk with that Boogaloo boy, and then when he talked to a bunch of different like far left people who started bitching out about it, he shot back at them for like basically for these socialists not liking the idea of having a open discussion with someone you might very well disagree with. So I appreciate Jimmy Dore, and I do, like I say, when you criticize him, I largely agree with you. Usually it's on like the videos I watch, I'm like, oh, that was not a good one or good taken. But then my issue is when, and you guys done this with Cristobal and Sagar and Jetty, who I agree with more than Jimmy Dore actually, generally in their takes, especially Sagar, which is odd because he is far more right than I am. But I think you guys you attack you do a really good attack on when they make a mistake or really screw up, and I'm very much on your side when that happens. But then I feel you guys do take it overboard, where you start kind of coming up with various things that you think Jimmy Dore thinks or says, which are then just because I watch all of Jimmy Dore's videos for like the last few years, I know it's absolutely contradicted by a lot of videos he's put out before.
It's so obvious what he thinks, though, because he has one lens, the America bad lens. So when we extrapolate what he's thinking,
I think American government bad specifically. I don't think he hates. He doesn't have. He has the government, like the federal level, especially. Like that's where his ire is very much directed to, in terms of his finger quotes hate of America hate, because he actually he espouses he celebrates a lot of aspects of like excellent aspects of America that I like. The First Amendment, even defends the Second Amendment more than a lot of other people on the left do. So I just feel it just doesn't, I think your criticism are, like I say, I largely agree with them, though I think they go overboard where it's like, oh no. And and I don't think you guys do this to everyone, or else I would have a bigger issue with you two, because you guys made similar kind of statements concerning Hassan. I would check out a bunch of Hassan's videos. I'm like, yeah, they largely line up, what you guys are saying of him.
Well, two things. First, Adam.
Oh, no, not Hassan, Bosch.
Bosch, yeah, whatever.
Sorry.
They're both crazy.
Yeah.
The Chiron says, "Is Jimmy Dore lying or crazy?" As opposed to saying lying or crazy.
He is a crazy. I think he's a crazy.
Okay,
sure.
so, but
I was going to say a liar, and then I kind of changed mid.
Right.
I've seen him get corrected by other people, other guests, and other people on when he takes a mess. I've seen Kurt just correct him, saying, "No, you got that wrong," and Jimmy then kind of goes on like, I'll have to look that up and check it out.
Well, maybe it's just it bothers me with I mean, recently with all the Russia-Ukraine shit. I mean, he's just totally sucking the Putin, I hate America. I'm sorry, I hate the American government.
But he's not, though.
Propaganda. Is he? He's got Max Blumenthal
he initially
and
did. He
coming
initially was
on,
doing
and
that,
they're
but
just saying all the garbage talking points.
He's anti-Putin. He's like I agree with you. I think he's wrong overall on his take on that situation, though I think there is some merit there. Like he has some points and whatnot. It's not unlike how Sargon. I generally disagree with Sargon, but I think he has some points I agree with in regards to the situation. I just don't think he phrases it very well. But I am largely agreeing with you guys. It's just I think like I said, it's kind of a 60-40 thing.
I got the facts though. I look into shit. He's not spending the time to actually look into this stuff.
No, I think it would be better if he did. I think he has definitely. I very much agree with you when it comes to this situation. He's looking through it through a very specific lens. But then we can look at how he looked at the Rittenhouse situation. He wasn't looking at it through that lens, which this very like a common far left lens.
Well, he's not. He's like a class reductionist Marxist. He's not a woke identity politics guy.
No, I agree. He's definitely more of a class reductionist.
Right, and I find like personally, I would generally find class reductionist Marxists far more tolerable to my palate because I hate identity politics so much. But they have their own. I mean, they're still Marxists. They have their own problems.
Yeah,
and it bothers me when I see people just uncritically spouting this propaganda stuff that he seems to fall into the trap of doing. But is there some specific example do you recall of like something I said or Adam said that you're like, oh, this was unfair to categorize Jimmy?
I think it was a couple of Jimmy Dore takes ago. I think I didn't have that prepared.
I know.
I know. Like I was going to write this in the suggestion debate for like a future thing, and then I could actually find the material. But then it was kind of like, oh, you guys are looking for people to drop in. So I didn't actually get at that.
Okay.
Always
I'm just curious, but
yeah. Well, hey, I wasn't expecting to jump into a debate today. And granted, I thought it was going to come on like relatively soon, so I didn't bother searching for stuff. I just played Subnautica while waiting for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
well, listen, that's a good use of your time. So
I did get my S-class ship constructed. Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy does do stuff that. I mean, I think his heart's in the right place.
I agree.
But
everyone's heart's in the right place. I mean, what does that mean?
No, I do not think everyone's heart's in the
right place. Most people's hearts are in the right place.
Do not think Hassad or Vaj, they definitely not.
Vaj believes his heart's in the right place because he's consequentialist, man. So he's like, I'm building the utopia.
I guess
Hassan, I agree with you, is just fucking full of shit.
I guess his heart is in the right place in that his heart is aligned with my heart, and he's a bleeding heart, like is for universal health care, that kind of stuff. So,
but he hates the American government.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's where his heart is completely in the wrong place. Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy because it's like a contradiction because he wants universal health care, but he thinks the government is incompetent. I mean,
or corrupt or evil. That's
corrupt and evil. Yes.
Yeah.
Which
he should read that book.
Specifically the federal one. I don't hear him complain nearly as much about, well, occasionally certain state governments like California. He certainly hates the state government there. But no, I think I do not agree with the idea that he hates America. But I think he has a lot of broad and somewhat messy criticisms of the federal government specifically. I did agree with his take the last election that if I was an American, which obviously not, I would have not voted either way. And back in 2016, I would have leaned heavily towards voting for Trump as an FU, but I agree with Adam that never releasing the tax information kind of stopped me there.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah. No, I think Adam's take when came to that was a big stopper to voting for Trump and it was purely as an FU to the Democrats and everything. But in 2020, I wouldn't have voted for either Biden or Trump. I think they're both awful picks. And
you tapped out.
Yeah, I think Jimmy is. I don't know if it's necessarily. I think it's.
Wait a minute, you're Canadian. You're not voting for anybody.
I know. That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what American. He said. He said he's not voting, but
I'm obviously not. I keep super chatting in Canadian.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
But but I think, well, I don't want to get too much deep into it, but I think his wish for a third party is coming from a good space, thinking that especially specifically on the federal level, the Republicans and the Democrats are
it's never going to happen, though.
corrupting.
We're never going to have a third party.
Not with that attitude.
Well, no, it's because you'd have to have 4 parties. If there's a third party, basically you'd split one of the parties' support too much to ever win ever again. Like there'd have to be a left populist and a right populist party for this to function at all.
Oh, I think there need in order to try to get that going, there needs you need to get a progressive vote going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have that for president though. Only for Senate and House.
Does Jimmy Dore get it wrong more than right? I mean, obviously his Ukraine takes are completely dog shit.
What's a good take besides the Kyle Rittenhouse take?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Basically, I feel barring the Ukraine stuff, which I say I disagree with him more than not. I think generally when it comes to a lot of his thoughts when it comes to foreign policy, Americans' misuse of foreign policy, I largely agree with.
Yeah, he's anti-war, but I mean, I'm anti-interventionist war. I mean, the preemptive doctrine I think is completely flawed, but I mean, the situation in Ukraine is a touchy, but I mean, he's categorizing any involvement outside of the United States as interventionism in the same way that Kurt kind of was doing when we had him on, which I think is just a bad take to begin with.
Yeah, that conversation was. I was hoping for a more constructive conversation with Kurt because I love Kurt as well.
Yeah, I love him too. But
yeah, but just to think of stuff like broadly saying, I love his ranting against the mainstream media. I think he's right in regards to how it's absolute trash for the most part.
I agree. Yeah,
I didn't watch. He talked to V, and I was curious as to how that conversation went, and I couldn't find it.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one.
Kurt did?
Yeah, because when he asked,
yeah, you're right.
Because we were supposed to come on, and then we didn't because Adam has taken a vow of celibacy from streaming except for our show until he finishes the comic.
Yes.
And so he talked to V instead, and I saw like it was live, and I didn't click it, and I don't know what happened to it, but I'm curious how the conversation went.
Yeah, I do think honestly, when after Kurt joined the gym, it got even better. I think Kurt has definitely helped steer Jimmy away from some of the worst leftist positions, and definitely helped reinforce his he did dabble into the identity politics of, like, you go back before Kurt, he would kind of be half in the pool on it. But I think he's definitely turned against like virtually all identity politics rubbish in regards to the culture war, which I'm definitely similar to you too. But yeah, I think generally I think he gets it more right than not. But once again, I think he makes plenty of mistakes. Factual errors.
What about spitting on Alex Jones? Was that a mistake?
Oh, I think that was wrong. I mean, I even jokes about it now, and I think he knows it's wrong. He actually had I won't reiterate, but he did talk about how he almost ran into Alex Jones at a restaurant after the like years out later. But
what about talking into his microphone and his gum falls out and he doesn't even pick it up?
That was bad. But I actually, one of the things that made me actually first like Jimmy, like the very first thing, was how ardent a defender of Alex Jones he was after Alex Jones got unpersoned from the internet, and he was one of the few people on DYT left who was completely adamant against that, and that's when that actually made me respect him at where I had no respect for him at all, especially with the spitting incident.
It's so weird. He has exactly the same position as Alex Jones on the government. Like him and Alex Jones are like carbon copies.
I think I actually sent that into you guys once. That I think I regard him as kind of a left wing Alex Jones of sorts. Not exactly.
I wouldn't disagree with
that. Not exact carbon copy, but not closer to him than he isn't. Yeah, it comes with fairly reasonable takes on a variety of issues, and I think he's getting better. That's the big thing with the Ukraine Russia stuff aside. I think he has gone better in regards to things like the culture war, where before he was a bit dicier. He's become especially with Kurt, he's become more critical of BLM. When before he was a huge BLM, he was pretty big on BLM, but now he's very critical of the of all that money that got absconded.
Yeah, they stole the money.
Houses. Yeah. When Kurt pointed out to him, he was he said that set him off.
Well, we'll have to keep working on Kurt. I got too triggered in that conversation because I don't normally listen to Kurt. Does he normally focus more when he talks, or is that just the way he talks?
No.
Okay.
He was smoking on our stream. Come on.
Because I couldn't. I just.
Don't you remember?
Just like I do remember, but it's just like it was
a running gag on Kyle's show is that Kerp. They call him Kerp. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a giant pothead.
Yeah, I guess he needs to like focus when he's talking to us because that was just like every answer would be a 5-minute tangent about something that was
maybe that wasn't a good thing for Kurt to do, but it was amusing. It was amusing, but I was disappointed in how
it's true. Someone in the chat brought up he did have what's his name on that he's like, is he Filipinese or something? He had that Asian guy come on who always denies the Uyghur Holocaust and always simps for China.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen him. Has he been on? Was it Haifong, Danny Haifong, or Danny?
Yes, that's the guy's name.
Yeah. No, that's definitely when he. The thing is, he's brought him on and he's talked to him, but he hasn't regurgitated a lot of the stuff that he said. Like when it comes to the Uyghurs, he doesn't know. He's kind of been like he hasn't taken a staunch side in terms of like, i.e., it's a fake genocide or no, this is really happening. He I've heard him generally he's condemned China more than propped it up, but he's also, this is part of his, finger quotes, hate America thing. Whenever he, attacks a foreign government, he also has to point out when the Americans are doing similar things and can't let America go unbashed. And,
Well, I mean, I have a different, we don't really get in this problem because usually when we have someone on, it's either to react to video or to debate them or something. Like we've never had someone on like, oh, you're an expert on some subject or something. Come on and tell us about it. And that's where I guess the problem is that if I have someone come on and tell me a bunch of bullshit, and I don't challenge it, I feel like I'm spreading fake news, essentially.
I reached out to Max Blumenthal. He was on Bad Faith Podcast recently and was saying a lot of shit that I thought I was very skeptical of. But he never responded. We're nobody. He's a big journalist guy, so But
Max
I figured
done some stuff I've appreciated, but other stuff I loved it when he's confronted various members of the squad and Democrats. I've enjoyed that quite a bit. Then for his stuff on
he
Ukraine,
puts a lot of faith. He puts a lot of faith in, like, I went there, I was there, which I'm just like, okay, that doesn't mean anything. He interviewed a guy that crazy.
I did watch that. Yeah, the crazy Texas
guy. He interviewed that crazy Texas guy who was obviously on drugs and full of shit. Some fucking commie who fell for Putin's propaganda, and he's talking like this guy knows what's up because he's just like man on the street.
He was there.
Yeah, which is such bullshit. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I know people that live across the street that don't know fucking anything. Okay. Just because they're close to me doesn't mean they're not full of shit.
Oh, absolutely. I thought when I watched that interview, I was like, yeah, this guy's. I think he's full of it, or crazy. Oh, dang it. I had the thought in my head of something about Jimmy, but no, it left, unfortunately.
What is V? I don't know if you know, for anyone in the chat knows, what is V's opinion on Ukraine at all?
He's so close. He's in Romania, is right next door. He's got to have
that's
a strong opinion.
That's why I'm wondering what his opinion is. So,
and also, he's dealt with communism before, so he knows the fucking propaganda routine.
If anyone listened to him talking to Kurt and they have it in their history, because I think it's unlisted or deleted, let me know. Send it to me because
he would come on. He would totally come on in a heartbeat. So
sure, I know. Someone said that he wanted to talk to us, but
yeah,
we're talking to Patrick Mulligan, famed CT simp.
Yes, the S-class ambassador to the symptom of CT. Very proud.
Wow,
awesome.
Wow. So how's it going?
V is strong against Russia. That's good.
Have you asked her out on a date? Sometimes that works.
We don't live anywhere close to each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there are these things called vehicles.
Yeah, I mean,
Canada's a big country.
She's 2 time zones away.
Oh, okay, I got you.
It's a bit of a distance. But if I ever visit my hometown of Toronto, I would probably be, hey, let's hang out.
Mm-hmm. And so we need to get V,
file a restraining order and whatnot.
Well, that's true. That's definitely what happened. We need to get V to get Sargon on the right track here about Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, is V on the right track? Did you look into it?
That's what the chat's saying.
Oh, okay.
That's what the chat's saying, but
interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, Sargon may be on the right track now. I don't know. I haven't.
I'm assuming his opinion hasn't changed much since we talked, but.
Well, my opinion has changed in regards to arming Ukraine. I was pretty against it when the initial stuff started because I, like a few others, expected it was going to be over fairly quickly, and therefore I felt arming Ukraine was just prolong the inevitable and basically just encourage Ukrainians to get killed, arguably needlessly in a losing conflict. Granted, things have not gone the way of the Russians, and now it's like, okay, no, I think there's a lot of much better reasons now to provide arms in addition to medical supplies, which I was always in favor of sending.
Right. Well, and also now it looks like, I mean, again, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Is Russia, are they really failing as hard as we're being told, or what? I mean, obviously they intended to just kind of steamroll into Ukraine and take it over.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, that's what did not work at all. So
no, I think they did not prepare both logistic wise as well as America did for the Iraq invasion or on the propaganda front as well. Because I'm surprised about how much the protests within Russia and how many Russians are against it. But a lot more than I was expecting, frankly.
How weird is it that, because Jimmy does do this and other creators do this too, where they invite the expert on that's going to explain the situation to them, but they always have to pick someone that's on their side, someone who's on the progressive front. And I don't know that it doesn't seem like ideology is what gets these things right.
I agree. I definitely think I wish you would have more experts from opposing viewpoints on.
Yes.
That'd be great. Every time he has Richard Wolff on, I just kind of want to die.
Oh yeah. He worships Richard. I'm so glad you brought that up. But
he's also a big fan of
Richard Wolff.
The Scottish economist. What's his name? I can't remember. The guy, you guys like him.
Mark Blythe.
Mark Blythe. Yeah, he's also a fan of him.
Adam. We gotta talk to Mark Blythe.
Okay, I can reach out.
I'd much rather he have Mark Blythe on than freaking what's his face? Feudalism is the.
I want to get to the bottom of this. Is Mark Blythe a socialist or not? Because it's super weird. All the Ben Burgess crowd loves Mark Blythe because he's anti-austerity measures. But whenever I hear Mark Blythe talk about his prescriptions for the economy, there's no communism there. It's all capitalist solutions.
Yes, yeah.
It's all free market solutions. So I don't know what the fuck, where this is coming from.
Lucifer the Dore actually asked, I think, something I wanted to ask and forgot about. Have you guys reached out to Lauren Southern? I'm kind of a fan of her over the last while.
Yes, I have, but no response. So we'll see what happens.
Does that mean I have to do? Is it up to me?
I think you'll probably just get the same, but.
What? Does she follows me? I don't know if she follows you.
Yeah, she follows me. She follows me.
Oh, okay.
Back. Yeah.
Didn't someone sent us a clip of her saying she wanted to talk to us or something?
Yes, and I responded to that. I said, what's a good way to get a hold of Lauren Southern? And she followed me, and I messaged her.
Okay.
She never responded, but.
Just message her again. She said, I mean, I don't even know what the fuck we would talk about.
Well, you want me to message her once a day? Come on, I'm not the simp here.
Well, no, she was on a stream.
I saw that.
Yeah, with Destiny and some other people.
Right,
and she even made some comment about that she gets a bunch of DMs and ignores them or doesn't read them or something.
Oh, so I never heard that. Okay.
Right.
Well, I thought she followed me to have a DM exchange.
Right. I don't. So. But what are we supposed to talk to Lauren Southern about?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk about her weird. The argument they had on stream was about is Lauren Southern believe in the Great Replacement? I don't want to have that conversation for the millionth time. I don't know what else to talk
about. I wouldn't want to hear that either.
Right. So I don't know.
She has a video that she made a long time ago that is about left and right that I thought was particularly articulate, that I probably remember very well we could talk about. She came out as basically a centrist. She's fucking hoarding in on our brand, and we're not
How
getting
dare
any.
she?
Yeah,
How dare
She
Yeah,
acknowledged that she was flirting with the radical elements of the
her and
on the
Hunter
right side of the spectrum too
Avalon are
much.
basically the same now. Okay, they're both centrist, so we need to we need to
I
talk
wouldn't
to our
say that.
attorney and have them drop a restraining or a cease and desist on
We
them,
got
or
trademark
we got to get
centrism.
some fucking money out of them.
I see.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I feel that a lot of people obviously like seeing the creators that they like have conversations. So, but a lot,
Yeah, I mean, I
sometimes
guess-
creators themselves don't necessarily know what that
Right.
conversation is going to look
And
like.
I guess as Lucifer says, we could just have her react to some video that we're reacting to, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think
we
there'd
could
be a fertile ground. I love seeing her and Destiny, have their discussions and vids together.
listen. We'll bring up a window with Twitter, and we will all three of us just start hitting Lance. Lance, what's up? You
Yes,
never
watch the Lance
responded
video,
to Lauren
exactly.
Southern. Lauren Southern is on our stream now. She wants to talk to you about. You called her out. Remember, you were going to have a follow-up debate. It never happened.
Yeah, whatever happened
just-
to the
We'll just start
Follow-up
sniping
debate.
him. Yeah,
once they found out that there were no bodies there and that they were all
Yes.
tree roots? Yes.
yeah, exactly. We'll get to the bottom of it. It'll be great. Maybe we can
Well,
get Lance on
well-
stream.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that would be great.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, but I just also this while we
Yep.
specifically talked about Jimmy Dore,
Yeah.
I agree. Actually, and I also mentioned Crystal Ball and Sagar and Jetty from Breakpoints, and I've been fans of them ever shortly after they started back on Rising in 2019.
Mhm.
I agree with them more than Jimmy Dore. I think they don't make the same mistakes he does often, and I think
Didn't
you
that
guys,
Caleb guy attack them too? He said that they were
Probably.
corporate shills or whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised. The Caleb
Wow.
guy seemed pretty off.
Right.
Yeah,
Totally the opposite of corporate
we-
shows, and they've talked about it a million times.
We
How-
covered one crystal ball video, right?
No,
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure you guys did. It was a bad one. It was like she does
I
give
don't
out
remember
bad
which one it
takes.
was.
I like Sagar. I think Sagar's takes are pretty on the nose,
Yeah.
and everyone on the right seems to hate him because I don't
Well,
know why. He's not
it's
far
because-
right enough or something.
Well, I don't know how. Like, I mean, in America, he's pretty centrist. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think he even described himself at one point as an enlightened centrist, actually.
Funny.
And and granted, if he was in Canada land where I live, he would be a conservative. He'd be a fairly regular conservative. It's just in America things are skewed a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So even though he by most common standards in the Western world, in the larger world and America, he is a centrist, or even probably gets called liberal a bunch. Even though he does have some conservative takes, that's when I agree with Crystal Ball over him.
Okay.
He's anti-drug legalization and whatnot.
What a
Yeah.
We could
asshole.
ask Lauren Southern why she doesn't want to have a pedophilia debate with a bunch of dudes. That would be a good that'd be a good conversation.
That'd be a great fucking conversation.
She had a good
Hey,
conversation
why
with
don't you
Destiny
want to
about
talk
that,
to
actually,
five
a few
dudes
months
about
ago.
pedophilia?
Well,
Mhm.
Destiny talked to her and a bunch of other, centrist or right-leaning, YouTubers about that topic. Actually,
Lauren Southern, she's a good debater. Like it's kind of impressive. She comes in there with like the facts and the knowledge, and she does all her research. I think she's an interesting character, an interesting content creator, and she seems to stick
I
with it.
respect her
She
a
likes
lot.
arguing with people on the internet, which is. She also falls into something we've talked about on the show many times about how people do crazy things, speaking of pedophilia, to get into the fucking people's attention and to completely destroy their chances of ever making any kind of impact. I think, we've talked about Sargon which wasn't even close. I mean, he did a rape joke on Twitter that everyone always brings up and tries to cast him as like a rape apologist.
Well, that's not really what you were talking about, though. We were talking about people who kind of hitch their brand to controversial issues that end up fucking them over.
Well,
obviously,
which is what happened with Lauren, but then she's kind of reevaluated.
Yes.
She's established herself a more she became less tribalistic, and that's what she talked about in a video from last year, last summer or the summer before, whenever she came back. It was, and that's what got me into, because I had watched a few of her things in the past, and I thought I enjoyed a lot of her criticisms of the woke, in the SJW culture, but then she would do things like that are going like, and I'm not just talking about the flare incident in the boat in the Mediterranean, but that's the common thing. It's part of the other things where it's like, I think you're being too partisan here, and I think she's become a lot less partisan. She's still conservative, but I have no issue with that. As long as they're not being tribalistic, that's the cringy part,
right?
Yeah, whether or not they can escape those past deeds, though, is an open question. I'm not sure that anyone has. So.
Well, awesome. I was in that. I was in the left-wing tribalism sphere for a while. I became politically active, shortly, not too long after 9/11, and became, huge liberal progressive type person, and thought conservatives were, just always going to be the pure incarnate of evil. Mm-hmm. And it was only, shortly into Obama, where it's like, okay, Obama's not the, liberal we were hoping for. And then
he's not the savior. He's not Black Jesus reborn.
I think Bill Maher said it well. It's like when Republicans called him a socialist, he's like, socialist. Obama's not even liberal, and it's like, no. He describes himself as a moderate Republican from the 80s. And, so that was very disappointing, because even though I'm Canadian, I was hoping that Obama was going to help get public health care for Americans and do all this great stuff, get out of the wars, close Guantanamo, and then it's just no. That's
where, to be fair, on at least the healthcare, they did try to pass far more public option related healthcare, and they couldn't. So they kind of compromised and went with the shitty.
They couldn't, because he basically didn't want to do politics. He didn't want to do the Lyndon B. Johnson, get down the dirty and get his party on his side.
I think the problem with Obama was he was too young to Congress. He didn't have the political power and connections that the Clintons had to kind of force Democratic senators and representatives to do what you want them to do.
He was the president. I'm with Cigar on this. Cigar, I think, has great Obama takes, where he dislikes Obama. He thinks he was a great politician in terms of his rhetoric, his ability to give a speech was incredible. But
he was a bad politician.
He was a bad politician. Yeah, yes. He didn't want to do the work of the politician.
But I don't know. I'm not there, so I don't know. I don't know if it's a question of he doesn't want to do the work or he's just not good at it. My interpretation is he was just not good at it, and he had only been a senator for what, 2 or 4 years or something, before he became president.
Yeah,
it takes really time to have your roots.
He was overly optimistic,
but that's why I thought having Biden as his running mate was a brilliant idea, because he was the guy who had that.
Right.
And unfortunately, they didn't work as well together as it's come out, over the last years. They actually weren't working as well together as people thought, basically, because Obama disregarded Biden, and where Biden has plenty of issues, believe me, I'm no fan, but he also had plenty of points and valid points to make and about how to get things done. And
so I guess the counterpoint to that is Trump, who has zero political experience, and he was able. I don't know if Obama or anyone could sort of gain the Trump energy, but Trump had no roots whatsoever in Washington, which I think hurt his presidency substantially. But he was at least able to he had so much control over public opinion of his party that he could cow his own senators and representatives into following him. And maybe Obama should have done that. When Obama first came in, they loved him so much. Yeah. Democrats loved Obama when he came in, that he should have used that power like Trump did. He should have wielded that power like a cudgel.
But what did he do? He kept trying to do bipartisan shit.
He kept trying to do bipartisan
when he had a majority. No, focus on getting your party in line. This is where I'm more of a fan of parliamentary politics.
But that's sort of the that's why it's kind of complicated, because you're like, well, we all complain that we don't have a politician who engages in bipartisanship. Obama, I believe, did actually try to engage in bipartisanship originally. It didn't work. By the time it didn't work, a lot of the Democrats and a lot of the country had already sort of lost faith in Obama, because people forget that after during his third year in presidency, he lost a lot of his public support already. By then,
first 2 years is when you're going to be accomplished the most as a president, and he had the majority, he had what he needed, but he wanted to do and I think he should have done tit for tat. Basically, he should have offered the olive leaf to the Republicans. Hey, want to work together? And at the first time they smack it away, it's like, okay, then I'm not going to work with you until you say, hey, let's work together.
Right.
And that's what he should have done. He kept going, and this is why, granted, I was in the TYT bubble a little bit, at the time, but everything else seems to reinforce that he just kept trying to get this broad bipartisan consensus going when he didn't need to, and the Republicans made it very clear they had no intention of working with him. So it seemed like he just wasted his popularity, his initial popularity. He was still very popular, but his initial impetus that any president has when in their first year or two. And he just wasted it. And Biden has largely done the same thing, which is savaging him over that.
Well, Biden never had. I mean, Biden was just.
It was the post-Trump effect.
Yeah, I would classify Biden as the first time in our history and my living history that the oppositional candidate has won running on "I'm not this guy."
Yeah. Which I don't think would have happened, except Trump just dropped the ball with COVID. I think that's the
insatiated audience.
I think Trump was
COVID. You're right. I think if it wasn't for COVID, I think we would have a second Trump term right now.
Even if it was for COVID, Trump was doing he got a little slow on the start on COVID, but when he started doing those daily or weekly press briefings, things were good. He was popularity numbers were up, and then it was not even before the end of April in 2020 he was starting to dial back the rhetoric. It's like no, you have to be dialing things up still as the leader in terms of so the populace thinks, he does have our best interests at heart. He has our health he does care about our health, he does care about our jobs, but he then started backpedaling, or started to lay off the gas in terms of fighting the pandemic. And when every new wave came up, just was when it was just he went the wrong direction. He switched directions, and that I think cost Trump the election, because I think he could have survived COVID. I really did. I just think he let it become, like many people, unfortunately, like a lot of us dislike. COVID
everyone.
Became very politicized, and he took sides of that. He couldn't resist. Always the Democrats are becoming, pro lockdowns and, being concerned about it. I'm going to take the opposite approach. It's like, no, as the president, you should have always been, the protective figure, looking out for Americans' interests.
Anyway, thanks for coming on, Patrick.
No, well, it was
awesome. Fun. I'm still gonna say Jimmy Dore sucks, but I appreciate your
wow.
On the matter.
Wow.
Yeah, I think at times he does suck. I just don't think he sucks nearly as hard as you think he does.
Okay, that's fine. I have to be. I'm gonna take the Destiny defense. Okay, I'm just hyperbolic for the funniness of the stream.
Both you guys run comedy shows. He has this exact same excuse you guys use.
Comedy show. That's right.
He's a professional comedian, even.
His show is not very funny somehow, so I don't know.
His comedy show is really funny. I've been to see him a couple times, so
you've had dinner with him.
I have had dinner with him. Exactly.
That's right. Well, anyway, thanks for coming, Patrick.
Take care,
Patrick. For being an S-class hero all the way.
Yeah,
I always appreciate.
But before I go, could you put up the CT Abs pick? Because every time you put it up, the membership swells of the CT symptom.
Does it really?
Oh yeah, we always get
sure?
Oh yeah,
I'll see if I can find. Oh, here it is, right here. Got it right.
I like that Adam has an OBS tab dedicated to the CT Abs. Just it's on the ready.
I think that makes Adam my hero as well.
Actually, CT did say in the chat that she would be happy to go on a date with you. She wants to meet at the police station so that she can work out the restraining order. While you're there,
saves time,
Yeah, she's a smart woman.
That did seem cruel to me, though. I don't. But I've gone on dates like that before, and it's worked out. So I mean, I would give it a shot. On those dates? Well, I mean, I've had girls pretty much tell me off in kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking that piques my interest.
I think before I go, one thing I think actually the emblem should just be. We should just crop out the abs and put that on replace the Canadian leaf on the flag with her abs. That's my idea of the emblem.
I'm thinking
I like that. Okay.
I'm thinking that the animal is photoshopping a jar in there. To be honest with myself, I see this picture completely differently now.
I like the Canadian flag, but with the abs instead of a leaf. That's perfect.
I know, Adam, you said CT is like a sister to you, but until we know your porn search history, that doesn't mean much.
we're safe. We're definitely safe. I'm not into incest.
Adam's a married.
I'm not into the caught in the dryer incest porn. Okay.
No, Adam's
Sitch,
a married man.
Sitch certainly has experience. He has knowledge. He has vast quantities of knowledge of that material.
Listen, that knowledge is entirely hypothetical for educational purposes.
All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of the show. I'll listen while playing Subnautica.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.